Well, good morning today, Lionhearts. We are coming to you from Montreal, primarily what's known as what once was the old Jewish district, now more considered the Portuguese district of Montreal, called the Plateau. For the better part of 35 years, a man who didn't feel at home in Montreal came back and felt at home and lived in this neighborhood, roamed these streets and frequented all these businesses, and that man is right up there on that wall. Godfather of gloom, the great Leonard Cohen. Montreal is a city that is known for its amazing art and cultural melting pot. I mean, gosh, right here you can see a mural to Superman. Right next to, right up here, a mural to the great Jackie Robinson when he played minor league ball here in Montreal. Right now we're on the Boulevard Saint Laurent, where Leonard used to frequent most of his days. And it was not uncommon for almost every day for the locals here to see Leonard walking around. And one day he walked up to a lady from the neighborhood that he knew, got up and whispered in her ear, "Only you and I are knowing that I'm wearing slippers." Because yep, he wore slippers everywhere he went in Montreal when he walked these streets. It's an absolute abundance of art here. Now, Leonard Cohen to me was just so amazing because he was so much more than just a writer, a poet, a musician. He was really, truly just one of the greatest thinkers, and he did it with such comedy. I think if you listen to his music and you read his poems, not only are they poignant, but he does them with this fantastic sense of humor. Never took himself too seriously. He was so funny, in fact, that at times they would, in interviews, point out things that just didn't make sense. Like they would say, you didn't believe in fraternities, yet you headed up one and fought for the rights of people, and then you also didn't believe in debate, yet you fought to be the president of the debate team and then refused to call debates. And he said, in response, "I don't like the way the evidence is mounting up against me." So one of the different approaches I wanted to take to the vlog today is, since I was able to find an article about most of the places that he hung out on a daily basis here, I was hoping to talk to people there and see if anyone can recount any stories about Leonard being in the neighborhood. God, it's absolutely freezing out here. I don't know how he used to walk around here in slippers. So right here across from this park, called the Parc du Portugal, is where Leonard lived. Now, he was originally from Montreal, like I said, but he was from a different part of Montreal, and he never really felt at home there. So eventually he moved off to live in the Chelsea Hotel in New York. And then with some success, he would end up living in London. Didn't enjoy London because of the weather, then would make Greece his home. Then after Greece, they said he would always have to come back to Montreal a couple of times a year because he said he had to renew his neurotic affiliations. And then at some point in life, on his trips back, he bought this house. And this was the last house. He lived here periodically from the early 70s until his death. Now, he also had a duplex that he lived in Los Angeles that I've shown. I actually went there either the day he died or the day after he died. They said that when Leonard lived here, you could always find him sitting on this front step right here with his laptop. They said constantly, anywhere he was walking around with his laptop, he was always writing. This is technically the last home of the great Leonard Cohen. Now, he used to frequent the park across the street. That was actually one of his favorite places to hang out, and he befriended a lot of people in the neighborhood, but not only people that lived in the neighborhood with homes, but also the homeless. There's a fantastic video on YouTube that you can find if you look up Leonard Cohen in a park, and he's sitting with a friend of his who's a homeless man who writes poetry, and had just had a poetry book published, and Leonard sits there and thumbs through it and reads it with him, and it kind of shows the humanity. I have no real idea whether Leonard's family still owns this or what, but one of the interesting quotes that I was able to find, it was like an interview with him where he said, until here, when he came to Montreal, he always loved staying in hotels, primarily cheap $3 hotels, because he said there was something that felt risky about it, something like you could flee at any moment. And he said, or you could go explore the city, and this was your rendezvous point for coming back. Until they found this place, this triplex. God, just imagine how many amazing songs, lyrics to songs, writings, poetry. I mean, he didn't even view poetry really as a job, he said that. So Leonard's first movement of the day would be sitting out here writing on his laptop, and then he would watch across the street, right beyond that stop sign, and he would wait for Bagels Etc. to open up, where he would have his large espresso for the day. One of the great stories I found was where the owner said he would, while he would be setting up over there, he would look out his window and see Leonard sitting on these steps waiting for him. So he said I would usually just step out and like usher him to come over. So let's walk through this little park, kind of take that in, and then we'll go over and grab a coffee like Leonard would have. And Bagels Etc. over there used to have a placard at Leonard's favorite seat, but they said that some fans stole it a few years ago. Hopefully they've replaced it by now. There's his triplex right there. That's how close we are. Now this part is really cool for me because I was watching that interview, or that little video of Leonard sitting with the homeless poet. They were actually sitting right here at that bench. You can tell the building behind is still the same. This one over here has changed significantly, but it's not the same color, but this is it. Now let's go grab that coffee and see if anybody over there can tell us a little bit about Leonard. Well, here it is. They said Leonard used to love the atmosphere here, and that the owner originally had decorated it from items in a funeral parlor. Alright, I'm gonna sit here at the bar because that's where he used to sit. His name tag actually was right down here. That's where he sat. Look, they have some signed photos of Leonard right there. A picture of him performing. Leonard right there. And that's made out to the Bagel Cafe, or Bagel Etc. And then this was actually Leonard's hat. How cool is that? Check this out. This is Leonard's seat here at Bagels Etc. And they did replace his name tag. Well, there's the Leonard Memorial Wall, and we're gonna take off and go to our next stop. They couldn't have been nicer here. That was pretty cool. I actually asked if they wanted to talk about Leonard, and they said, no offense, we've just said everything that we want to say, but go down here. 1 block away is where Leonard used to buy his slippers, and they said, oh, they'll talk to you. They love to talk about Leonard here. And he also said they have quite a few pictures of Leonard, so this should be fun. You know what's kind of cool is that a couple of the employees in there were telling me different stories, and they had said that Leonard gave one of the employees a leather jacket. He gave one employee like a drawing he did. They said he was there all the time. Everybody there loved him. So this is Steve, and he's the guy that Bagels Etc. told us to come down and talk to. He has a pretty funny story about Leonard. Actually, you said he was just such a nice guy, but you were showing me a picture and told a story.
Right. Very simple, down-to-earth kind of guy. So there's a picture in 1986. We were advertising on the side of a truck. We had the truck brought to the front of the store one day, so we could just take pictures of the truck in front of the store. And then the picture is myself, my father, my brother, from across the street with the truck in the background. And Leonard happened to be just walking by at that moment, and he just looked at us and says, "Can I join you guys?" So I said, "For sure." So that's why we have the picture with the four of us sitting in front of the truck. Of course, we took other pictures as well, but that's certainly a souvenir.
There's that great photo. Here's one from 2009.
So in 2009, it was in the news in September that he turned 75. It just so happens that he came into the store a few days after his birthday. So I wished him happy 75th birthday. But it also happened to be the same day that was my mother's 75th birthday. So I just asked him if I can take a picture with him, because my mother's a big fan. And he said, "Of course, why not?" So that's the picture that we got over there.
That's great.
And then he wrote her a nice little note. He just said, you know, from one 75-year-old to another, "Have a happy birthday, love, Leonard Cohen."
That's so cool.
So she's got that souvenir. But
Now,
he was that kind of simple, nice, friendly guy.
and you said nobody bothered him. He would walk around, socialize with everyone, and
Yeah, it was simple. No,
could we see where he used to buy his famed slippers I was telling everyone about?
sure.
You said that's the one?
This is the one over here that was his favorite slipper.
And over at Bagels Etc., they told me to check this out before I left. It's right kind of catty corner from the park and where Leonard lived, but it says, "So long, Marianne and Leonard." And if you aren't familiar with Leonard's songs, good starting point I would say is Suzanne, Hallelujah, Dance Me to the End of Love, I'm Your Man. Those are all, Berlin, all great songs. Actually, I always call it Berlin, but I think it's technically called First We Take Manhattan or something like that. It's on the I'm Your Man album because that's one of my favorite songs on there. First we take Manhattan, then we take Berlin. And I was told, as far as anyone knows, that Leonard's family still owns the house, so they are hoping that it eventually gets opened up into a Leonard Cohen museum. There's a lot of pictures you can see online of the memorial tributes when Leonard passed away right here at his door. Since we're still in the neighborhood, I came back and look right on the pole outside his house. This place is pretty interesting because this is right around the corner from where Leonard lived, and this was his neighborhood hardware store. So he used to come here quite a bit to buy all of his odds and ends for around fixing up things in the house. But now this place is kind of famous because they said they're known for all these Portuguese roosters. So people from all over the world come to check out these roosters and buy these kind of things. How crazy is that? Now we're gonna head off to a place called the Main Deli, and we're gonna get a smoked meat sandwich, kind of like corned beef. This is kind of surprising because a lot of people think that Leonard Cohen was a vegetarian his whole life. He wasn't. He was a vegetarian for a few years of it, but he loved coming here, so we're gonna go get what he used to get, and they have some clippings about him there, I believe. Here's kind of a cool mural take on Montreal. Oh wow, check that out. That is amazing. I love that kind of art. And apparently Leonard must have as well. I mean, seriously, take a look at all this art. This is just so cool. We were lied to for years. Oh, cool lamps. Or light fixtures, I guess you'd say. Very cool. Here it is, right across from another famous deli here called Schwartz's. We're gonna go to Maine. Right here, if you look, as soon as you walk in, they have an article saying Cohen's their man. Just think how many times Leonard would have eaten in here. I think we're gonna keep it simple and just do the smoked meat. So they actually just told me this was Leonard's booth and it's open, so they're gonna move me over to here. How cool is that? Here's another clipping about Leonard eating here, and there's actually a picture of him inside of here, right there. So now we officially have the Leonard Cohen view while we eat. Well, there's my lunch, there's my sandwich, my fries, my coleslaw and pickles. She said he used to get this and he used to get the baby back rib, so I'll show you a picture of that before we leave on the wall. That was Leonard's other choice for a meal right there. Wow, the food here is incredible. This is even better than the smoked meat sandwich I had yesterday. Well, we just finished up our food here and they were telling me this is what he would finish his meal with. We're not going to today. I have another plan, but strawberry cheesecake here. And how appropriate, while I finish eating, they're showing a Leonard Cohen video on this TV. Meant to be. God, that food was so good, and they were so friendly in there. Can't say enough nice things about this entire street. When I was inside, I was mentioning that to some other people that were eating. I said, yeah, I read online everybody goes to Schwartz's, and they said, yeah, a lot of people go there, but we actually think this one's better, so I'm glad I ate here instead. Now there's a reason I didn't have the cheesecake. It's because I want to go to one other place around here that Leonard used to frequent, and look at that, we can even see his mural poking up over there. He used to go to a little deli, like a little pastry shop, and they had pastas de nata, so I'm gonna go get some. Love my Portuguese pastries. Well, here's our next stop, Les Anges Gourmets, and this is the scene of where that story happened I told you about earlier when Leonard walked up behind a woman and said, only you and I know I'm wearing slippers. So let's go in. Here it is. Somewhere at this counter, Leonard would have made that comment about the slippers. How cool is this? There it is. That's what I came for. God, doesn't look all that look good. And there's mine. Mine's even still warm. As I was walking up to order, they were bringing out a fresh tray, so perfect timing. Yeah, dude, that's how cold it is out here that the owls have to wear a winter hat. I talked to a couple of locals and they said, you came in the wrong week. It hasn't been this cold yet until this week. Look what else we have down here. Now we're heading off to our last spot of the day. Well, here we are, our last stop of the day, where Leonard's buried. And it's pretty easy to find where he's at, even in the snow, because as soon as you walk in, you can see it right there. Just follow the footsteps right up here. That's not him, but this one is. There he is. Not just an amazing wordsmith, but God, his voice was amazing. I mean, guy could have read the ingredients to a casserole or read the phone book and it would have sounded amazing. The great Leonard Cohen. I can't recommend his writing or music enough. It's funny, I had a friend that constantly, when I met him, always talked about Leonard Cohen. And I was just, one day I said, dude, I have never heard this guy, his music, his writing, I don't know anything about it. What is so good about it? So that friend, for an hour, played me all of his favorite Leonard Cohen songs, and I got it. So here we are paying tribute to Leonard. God, what just a nice guy. Everybody here in the community had nothing but nice things to say, and when you read online, just really can't find any bad words about him. One of my favorite things that he said was that he said being a poet is almost like being a wrestler. When people want to ask you about being a poet, he said they think that you're going to tell them some secret, that it's not real, that it's all a charade, but he just had a gift with words. And one of my other favorite things he said was, he said that he believed that the beauty of woman was God's gift to the world, because he said even though only one man can really ever truly win a woman's heart, all the other men in her presence are warmed by her. And he said he truly believes that is God's gift. So thank you for everything, Leonard. Rest in peace. Thank you for 82 great years of learning. I think when I go back and read your writing, Leonard, I think I probably learned more from you and your outlook on life than most anybody from this century. Now, per tradition, it's supposed to be that you leave either a stone or some coins for the dead, so I brought a few. We're gonna leave them here for Leonard. Oh, where should we put them? How about right here? Well, if you're a Leonard Cohen fan, I hope that you enjoyed today's vlog. It really meant a lot to me to do it. Just want to send a big shout out, thank you to everyone who watches these videos and helps support this channel so that we can come and do things like this. This one's for you, Leonard. Have a great night, everyone. Goodbye.